Okay, so good morning, students. Today we are going to see about the 8087 coprocessor. Already we are having some idea about this 8087 coprocessor. So 8087 coprocessor is used to perform all the mathematical operations. In order to increase the speed and the performance of the entire system, we are going for this 8087 coprocessor, which is attached to 8086. Okay. So this is a pin diagram of 8087. So almost all the pins same as 86 processor. We have the ground pins 1 and 20, and we have the address lines from this here AD0 to AD14, and NC means it is no connection, and the 19th pin is used to give the clock input, and here 21st pin is used as a reset signal, which is used to reset the processor, and this 22nd pin is the ready signal, and next one is the busy signal, which is connected to 23rd pin, which represents this the coprocessor when it is busy. Then QS0 and QS1 gives the status of the queue, whether we are going to fetch the first byte or second byte or the consequent bytes. And S2, S1, S0 are the status signals used to give the cycles. That is memory cycle. It can be memory cycle, a memory write cycle, or IO read cycle, or IO write cycle. And we have this request and grant pins. Okay, here also we have two request and grant. So it is used for sharing the buses. And 32nd pin is the interrupt pin. And 34th is BHE, bus high enable. So this signal along with A0, it is used to select whether we are going to fetch the data from odd bank or even bank. And this address lines are combined with the status signals A16 and 17 combined with S3 and S4. This gives whether we are going to access the data from code segment or data segment or extra segment or stack segment. And S5 represents the interrupt status of the interrupt flag, and S6 must be 0. So now let's see the flowchart of this, how 86 is communicating this 87 coprocessor. Okay, so here as I said, all the 87 instruction will be starting with the letter F. Suppose if we have add means, so 87 instruction will be F add, F mult, F divide, F sub like this. So F is nothing but a floating point instruction, and the prefix of this is the opcode will be escape. So all the instruction will be having this escape. So when this 86 processor identifies an escape prefix means, so that instruction must be given to the 87 processor. Okay. So here the 87 processor will fetch that instruction, and it will deactivate the test pin and execute the specified operation. Suppose if it's addition means it will perform that addition, and after the data is ready, it will activate the test pin so that the processor may know that the data is ready from the coprocessor, and it will get the data. When the coprocessor is performing this operation, so 86 will be executing its own instructions. Okay. So this is the flow diagram that represents the communication between 86 and 87 coprocessor. So it's a block diagram. So we have two parts, that is the control unit and the numeric execution unit. So the control unit interfaces the coprocessor and the processor, and it synchronizes the operation, and it contains control word, status word, and here we have the data buffer. Through this only the data will be carried between the coprocessor and the processor. Okay, and here we have the operands queue, that is it gives it to 86 will contain a queue of 8 bytes. So here this is used to synchronize the data. Okay. And here coming to this numeric execution unit. So here we have, as I said, so this is used to perform the floating point operation. So we have two buses, exponent bus and fractional bus. Okay. So here already this is a floating point data which is represented here. So suppose if you have 1.2345 means, so it can be represented. Is some noise is coming. Who is that? Can you unmute your? Okay. So it can be converted into mantissa part as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 10 power minus 4. This is the exponent part. Okay. So floating point. So here the mantissa part is represented by 64 bit and the exponent part is represented by 16 bits. Okay. So here we have this register stack here to store the data. In 86 processor, we have AX register, BX, CX, DX, no general purpose registers. Like this here, all the data can be stored in this register stack. So here we have 8 registers and each registers of 80 bit. So this 80 bit is used to hold the mantissa and the exponent part. As I said earlier, so the mantissa is 64 bit and the exponent part is 16 bit. Okay. So see here, that is represented here. This is the fraction part that is 64 bit. A slash is there. And here a slash, it consists 16 bit. Okay. So totally we get 80 bit. And here we have the temporary registers, which is used to store the data. And here this arithmetic model is used to perform the arithmetic operation. And here we have the program shifter, as I said earlier. So that is the multiplication and division can be performed by shifting this. So suppose if it is the 1000, the data is 8. Okay. If you shift right to right means by 1 bit, so the data will be 0100. So we get 4. That is, we are dividing 8 by 2. So the division operation performed here. Like this same thing, suppose let us take the data as 0100 and we are shifting left means what we'll get? It is 1000. Okay, 100, that is 8. That is, we are multiplying 4 by 2, so we get 8. Okay. And here we have the exponent model, which is used to store the exponent value. Okay, two buses are available here, exponent bus and fraction bus. And here we have a tag word register. So it gives the content of this register, every register. It is 2 bit. For every register, it will be represented by 2 bits. Okay, 2 bits. So if this the content of this is a value or it is 0 or it empty, so that will be specified in the tag word register. So tag word register is a 16-bit register. It will be studying in the later slides also. Okay, I hope you understood. Already I have explained in the previous class. So this is the architecture of 8087. So let's see the register, how the register operation is performed. Suppose I want to calculate this x plus y plus z. Okay, I go have to perform this operation. So what I'm going to do is first I am adding this y plus z. So to that answer, the x must be added. Got it? So I'm going to add x plus y plus z. First one is I am adding the y plus z data and the output of that must be added with x. So how I'm going to write this program is, so let's see here. See here in this program, in all the instructions we have f. F refers, it's floating point data. Okay. This f init is to initiate the operations. And here load, f load is loading the value into x. That is into the register stack. Next is loading the value y into the register stack. Okay, FLDY. Then this LD is load the Z value, right? So let's see here. So this is the register stack. So after performing this load X, okay, X is loaded here. So Y is loaded here and Z is loaded here. Now the top of the stack is ST of 0. Okay, always the top of the stack will be represented as ST of 0. Okay, so as I said earlier, it is a stack registers are arranged in stack structure. So the technique used is lost in first out. So the operations are push and pop operation. Okay, so if you push, the data will be pushed into the stack, and pop is we can read the data, and it is a circular stack. Okay, so the size of the stack is 8 registers. Suppose if you are pushing the 9th data into the stack means that is the data will be overwritten. Okay, it will be replaced. So you have to be very careful when we push the data into the stack. Okay. See here, next one is what I'm writing is I'm going to add ST of 0 and ST of 1. So ST of 0 and ST, Y and Z are added. Okay. And that will be at the top of the stack. Okay. So in the later slides, we're explaining this. So then what I'm adding is this ST of 0 and ST of 2 is available in X. So adding that, Then next one is storing the sum. I'm storing the sum into, that is the output into the variable sum. And next one is store and pop. Okay. So first is we initiate the processor and then we are loading the value into the register. The values are X, Y, and Z. Then performing the addition between Y and Z. And then I'm adding X to that and storing the sum into the variable and then storing the sum and popping. So let's see each and every step here. So let us, again, I have copied the program here. Okay. So this is the register stack. So this each register will be having the value that is 000 to 111. Okay, 00 since it is 8 location. So 3 bits can be used to represent this 8 registers. So minimum value all the bits will be 0 and maximum value all the bits will be 1. Okay, 00. This is the initial condition. So now the register stack is empty. So next one is we are loading the data into the stack. See, X is loaded into the stack and the top of the stack is ST of 0. Okay. And next is I'm loading the value Y into the stack. So above X, the data will be pushed. And now ST of 0 is the memory location that is in which the data Y is stored. Okay, ST of 0 and ST of 1. And next is I'm loading the value Z into the register stack. So now the top of the stack contains the value Z and Y is in ST of 1 and X is in ST of 2. Okay. What is the next one is I'm going to add this Y and Z. Okay. So the instruction is, see here, F add ST of 0 and ST of 1. So refer here. So what is the value of ST of 0 available? Z. Okay. So this will be added with this. And after addition, the data is stored in ST of 0. So here, see here, Y plus Z is available in ST of 0. Okay, you got it? So ST of 0, see the previous register, ST of 0 was Z and Y is available in ST of 1. So we are adding this value and the result will be available in top of the stack. That is ST of 0. Okay. So Y plus Z is available. So next is what we are going to do is we have to add this Y plus Z with X. So I have returned the instruction ST of 0 which contains Y plus Z and ST of 2 contains X. Okay. ST of 0 contains Y plus Z and ST of 2 contains X. So I'm writing this instruction as ST of 0, comma ST of 2. So all the data X plus Y plus Z is added and it is available in the top of the stack. That is ST of 0. Okay. So next is I'm storing that value into the variable sum. So it will be directly transferred. Okay. So next is for your explanation, that is clarification I have written here, store and pop, store and pop. Okay. So the variable from here will be popped out. So what is it? So X plus Y plus Z will be popped to the variable sum. And now what is the value here? ST of 0, the top of the stack will be decremented. Okay, so hope you understood this. Okay, top pop means, so here see here the here ST of 0 is in this position and here we have popped to the data. So ST of 0 will be decremented and now it points to this. Okay, so let's from the starting, let me explain again. So here this is the initial one, so that all the content of the register will be cleared. Okay, first one is we are loading the value X. So top of the stack now contains a variable X. Next was we are loading the value Y. Now the top of the stack will be loaded with Y. Next one is load Z. So now the top of the stack will contain Z. Okay. So next process is we have to add this X plus Y. That is available in ST of 0 and ST of 1. So I have returned this instruction F add ST of 0 and ST of 1 and the result will be available in ST of 0. See here, Y, now ST of 0 contains Y plus Z. Okay. So next step is I want to add this Y plus Z with X. So f add of st of 0, comma st of 2. So now the output x plus y plus az is available in st of 0. Okay. So now coming to this, I'm storing the output, that is the top of the stack content, into the variable sum. So fst sum, like that, that's all. So if I write this instruction, the value will be available in the top of the stack itself. So in the next instruction, what I'm doing is I'm popping the data from the stack. So now the top of the stack, that is the value x, y, z will be removed from the stack. And now the stack pointer points to this. Okay. So hope you understood. Students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So like this only you have to write the 87 programs, but in your theory and also in your practical sessions, there is no 87 programs for you. Just for your clarifications and about 87 processor, I explained this program. Okay. Uh, and next one is, as I said, a tag register. No, so here in this register stack, we have a tag word register. It is a 16-bit. So the content of this single register will represented by the tag word. This tag 0 will show the content of the register 0, and tag 1 is will show the content of tag the register 1. Like this, we have tag 7, that is tag 7 will tell the content of this 7th register. So if the tag bit is 00 means the data is a valid data, and if it is 01 means it is data available in that is 0, and 10 means the special number, that is infinity value, or we can have the pi value. So if the value is pi or some special numbers means the tag bits will be 10, and next 11 means it will be empty. Okay. So this is the tag word register. It is a 16-bit register. Okay. And next one is the status register, which is used to find the status of the bits. Okay. So first one is, let's see from here, it is a 16-bit register, status register. Um, so here, first one is 0th bit represents an invalid operation. So invalid operation means, suppose if you're finding the square root of a negative number means it is an invalid operation. So if it occurs means this bit will be set to 1. Okay. So invalid operation means, so if we find a square root of a negative number means it is a invalid operation, that at that condition, this bit will be set to 1. Okay. So next one is denormalized operand. I think you would have studied in DBMS. Okay. Normalization is a very important topic in the database. So denormalized data means, normalized data means, so all the operands available, that is all the data available will have some relation between all the data. Denormalized means there is no relation between all the data that are available in the table. Okay. If it is a denormalized operand means it will be set to 1. Next one is if divide by 0 occurs, error occurs means this second bit will be set to 1. Okay. Next one is the overflow condition. So the stack size is here 8 registers. Suppose if you are trying to push the 9th data into the stack means overflow occurs. And also another one thing is if the result is too large to fit into the registers. For example, if you're adding two 80 bits data, okay, so here all the registers are 80 bit. So 80 bit data plus another 80 bit data, we can get the data of 81 bits, right? 81 or 85, whatever it is. Under this condition, we can hold only 80 bits into the registers. So when this occurs, the overflow bit will be set. Okay, that is if the output is too large to fit into the register means overflow uh, error bit will be set. So next one is underflow condition is if the data is too small to fit into the register. Okay, underflow occurs, and also when we are trying to pop the data from the stack and there is no data in the stack means underflow condition will occur. Next one is precision control. That is the result exceeded. So there are some conditions here. That is the result can be 24 bit or 64 bit like this. So this, if the precision exceeded the selected limits means, so this bit will be set. And the next bit, that is the sixth bit, is reserved for future use. And next one, IR is the interrupt request line. And we have the conditions code here. So that is C3, C2, C1, C0. Okay. That is here we don't have the flag register. That is a carry bit, auxiliary carry, like that. So here for compare instructions, we need the, or other for other instructions also, we need the flag register, parity bit, 0 bit, sign bit, like that, no, flag register. So for that, we are using this condition code bits, okay. It is represented by 4 bits. And here, next one, this 11, 12, and 13 will represent the stack top pointer. That is here, see here, this one, okay, 0, 0. So when you see in the previous diagram, uh, okay, sorry. Okay, see here, so this is the top of, so this register value, 111. So what is the top of the stack? The register value here is 111. That will be available there, okay. So here, in this ST value, that 111 will be available, okay. And this, the 15th bit represents a busy flag bit, okay. So the status register is used to find the status of the bits available in the coprocessor, okay. So IE is an invalid operation. That is, if you are going to find a square root of negative number or whatever it is, so dividing by an infinitive number like this, so invalid of this bit will be set. So denormalized operand is if the operand is not a normalized data, and this 0 divide by, when 0 divide by 0 error occurs, this flag bit will be set to 1. And here overflow condition and a stack, and also if the data is too large to fit into the register, this overflow bit will be set. And underflow is if the data is too small to fit into the register, means this underflow error will occur. And precision control is if the result exceeded the selected precision, okay. And here we have the interrupt request, and condition codes are used by the instructions, and stack pointer, which is used to represent the top of the stack, which register represents the top of the stack. And busy flag bit, as we all know, if the processor is busy, means that will be indicated as 1. So this is the structure of the status register. It is a 16-bit register. Suppose if any error occurs and we are not able to debug it by going through all the instructions, means we can read the status register and find out the error, okay, whether it is an invalid operation or whether it is an underflow error or overflow error, like this. Okay. So this is the table to represent the condition code. Here, see here, compare and test. For this compare and test, C3, C2, and C0 bits are used. Okay, a combination of this. So I'm explaining this when you are going through all the instructions. And here reminder, and here we have the examine values. Okay, so 16 combinations are there. So this represents the condition code. Okay. So next one is the control word register. Every processor or every device will be having a status register and control register. Status register is used to read the status of the there is a device when there is an error, and control word register is used to control the operating modes of all the devices. Okay, so this is the structure of the control word register. It is a 16-bit register. Okay. So here again the same thing only. There is here we have 0th bit represents the invalid operation. So next one is the denormalized operand, and here it is divide by 0, and here it is overflow, and next one is the underflow, and next one is the precision control. So if this bit, any of the bit is 0, means it will accept that type of errors. Suppose if let us take this denormalize. Suppose I am putting an entry 1 here, means it won't accept any error under denormalized operand. Okay. Like this, if I put in this 0 divide, no, this bit, if I put 1, means if there is any divide by 0 error, it will not be accepted. So if I put 0 only, it will be accepted. So like this, in subprograms, if I want not to accept any overflow errors, means I have to put here 1. If I put 1, means overflow errors will not be accepted. So that only it is called as exception mask. Okay. So if I put 0 here, so the invalid operation error will be accepted. And if I put 1 means that type of errors will not be accepted here. Okay. And here this precision control, here we have the 8th bit and 9th bit are used to represent the precision control. That is the result to exceed this number of bits. If it is 0, 0, then the result can be 24 bits. And if it is 1, 0 means it is 53 bits. And if it is 1, 1 means it is 64 bits. Okay. And here the rounding control also, 10 and 11 bits are used to process this rounding control. So let's see this table here. Let us take an example. So if the input is 21.44, so round to even value is 22 and round to down is 21.4 and round to up is 21.5 and truncate means we are truncating the decimal point as 21. Okay. So like this, if we take the input as 43.66, it is round to even, that is round to nearest means it is 44 and down means it is 43.6 and up rounding to the up means 43.7 and truncate means 43. So when you take a whole number, round to the nearest and even means it is 18. Okay, round to nearest means it will be 17. And round to near even means it is 18 and down means we have the same value. There is no decimal point here, so we get the same value 17, 17 and 17. So hope you understood this control registers. Okay, so it is a 16-bit register. So 0 to 5 or the exception mask, which is represents the invalid operation, denormalized operand, divide by 0, overflow error, underflow and precision control. So for precision control, we are using again 8th and 9th bit. 0, 0 means it is 24 bit. 0, 1 is reserved for future use. And 1, 0 is 53 bits. And 1, 1 means the result can be 64 bits. Okay. And rounding control, the 10th and 1, 1, 11th bit is used for rounding control. So 0, 0 means it will be rounded to the nearest or even. 0, 1 means it will be rounding to the down and 1, 0 means rounding up and 1, 1 means truncate the result. Okay, this is the structure of the control register. So now let's see the instruction sets. So as 86 processor, we have all the instructions, that is data transfer instruction, arithmetic instruction, comparison instruction, transcendental operations. That is, here we can perform all the theta functions, no, tan theta, then tan inverse like that. So that is transcendental operation. Next we have the constant operation, a coprocessor control operations. Okay. So these are the set of instructions available in 8087 coprocessor, almost the same sets. Okay. So here let's see, before going into the instructions, how the data are represented. So as I said earlier, here floating point operations are performed. So we have the mantissa part and the exponent part. Okay. So let us take an example here, the data minus 53.5. It is a negative number. So converting that to binary. Okay, we get minus 110101.1, the decimal part. So I'm normalizing this data as we have studied in DPST, you know, normalize, I mean some floating point addition multiplication, we have to normalize the data and then only can perform the operation, no? So suppose if you are adding two datas, the two datas must be in the normalized form. There is 1 point like this. Hope you remember this. So here I'm normalizing the data as minus 1.100 into 2 power 5. Okay. So I have to store that in this as binary in the mantissa and the exponent part. So here this is this here. Okay. So in this exponent part 16-bit, the leftmost bit represents the sign bit. Already in every data, the leftmost bit will be a sign bit. If it is 1 means it is a negative number. If it is 0 means it is a positive number. Okay. So next one is the exponent part. Here what is the exponent part here? 5. Okay, 5. So the binary value of 5 is 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, here 0, 0 means it is a 15-bit data. So 0, 1, 0 one loaded at the right side, and all the remaining bits will be 0, 0, 0. Okay, that we got the exponent part. Next one, the mantissa part is this one, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. And the remaining right side bits all will be 0. You got it? Okay, so minus 53.5 is converted into binary like this format, and it is converted into a normalized data. Okay, because we need the exponent part also, so we are normalizing the data, and here we are representing that in this binary value. So here in this 16-bit exponent part, the leftmost bits used to represent the sign bit, and the 15 bits is used to represent the exponent part. And here the exponent is 5, okay, 2 power 5. Why I'm writing 2 was, so it is a binary data, so I'm writing here 2. Okay, suppose if it is see here, it is a decimal data, so what I'm writing here is 10. Okay, hope you got it. So this is 2 power 5. It is a binary data, so the base is 2. I'm writing here 2. And here it is a decimal data, so here the exponent part is, there is 10 is written here. Okay, and then we have this mantissa part that will be stored in 64 bits. Hope you understood. So this data can be represented by how many bits?
80.
Yeah, 80. Yeah, very good. Oh, 80 bits. Okay. So in this we have the 16-bit exponent value and 64-bit mantissa. Okay. Hope you understood this data, how the data are represented. So now let's go to the data transfer instruction. Just you have to write this. All the notes materials are available in the Google Classroom also. First one is load, as I saw earlier, no, load X, to load the data into the top of the stack. Next one is store the data and pop. Okay, store and pop. Next one is exchange. We have studied in 86 also, no, exchange instruction. Next one is the here integer value. I represents integer. Okay, so this no, the fractional value that is in the mantissa part, we have represent that as integer. So integer, load the integer. FIST is store the integer, and this store the integer and pop. Okay, store the integer and pop. And here in this instruction we have the BCD data. So B represents BCD. What is BCD data? What is the difference between normal decimal data and BCD data? How will you convert normal decimal data to BCD?
Using 8421.
What is 8421? Yeah, 8421. What is the logic for BCD operation? Normal data, how we convert that into BCD? Okay, and remember this DAA instruction, DAS, DAM. BCD means if the number is greater than 9, we have to add 6 to that. That is a BCD operation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. If the number is greater than 9, we have to add 6 to that. Okay. So this is next one is this is BCD operation, store and pop. Okay. This is load, and this one is store and pop, and this is exchange instruction. Next one is load the integer part, store the integer part, and here store and pop the integer part, and here load the BCD and store the BCD and pop. Okay. So next one is the arithmetic instruction. As we all know that the same operation here, F add. F, only the letter F must be prefixed in front of that instruction. F refers floating point. Okay. F subtraction, F multiplication, F division, and here F square root. To find the square root, there is no instruction in 86, but we have here in 87. F square root, okay, floating point square. Then suppose if you want to multiply a data by 2n means you can use this F scale instruction. Okay. Next one is to find only the remainder. So we can use this FPREM. that is divide, and stores only the remainder. So whenever the result will be available in the top of the stack only, that is ST of 0. For all the instructions, the result will be available in the top of the stack. So in the previous 86, as I said, main register will be an accumulator, no? Suppose if you want to divide a data, one data must be in accumulator, and other data can be in any other register. Like this here, one data must be in the top of the stack, and the result will also be available in the top of the stack only. Okay. So next one is round the content to its integer value. Here, extract instruction is used to extract the exponent and the fractional part and store that in the top of the stack. Next one, FABS is used to find out the absolute value. That is modulus, no? We have modulus. And here, FCSH is used to change the sign. Okay. So this is the arithmetic instruction: F add, F sub, F multiply, F divide, F square root, then multiplying a data by 2n, then to find out only the remainder, to get to only the remainder, FPREM, then round the content to its integer value. We have FRND, INT, then extract the exponent and fractional part is F extract, and FABS is used to find the absolute value, and FCH is used to find the, that is to change the sign of the content. Okay. So this is, as I said, a group of transcendental instructions here. So this is tan theta, FPTAN is used to find out the tan theta. And this is tan inverse, okay, FPATAN is used to find the tan inverse. And this is to calculate the expression 2x minus 1. F2xmi, 2x minus 1. And here calculates ST. ST refers the top of the stack to the base 2. Okay. And here this will calculate this expression into log of ST plus 1. So these are the transcendental instructions that is additionally available in 87 processor. There is no instruction for sine theta and cos theta. Just you can calculate only tan theta and tan inverse, then the expression 2x minus 1 and logarithmic values, and also an expression log 2x pi. Okay. So nextly, so let's see about the co-process, that is comparison instruction. F compare. Okay, F compare. Before that, let's see here. So here two bits are used. Okay, Z0 and C3 are used for comparison. So normally in comparison, which operation will be performed? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. See, the processor don't know the symbol, what it means, less than, greater than, less than and greater than, equal. Okay, some operation will be performed, and according to that, the bits will be set, the flag bits will be set. So here the flag bits, we are using the condition codes C3 and C0. So which operation will be performed? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Answer, please. So I hope so. Are you listening to the class or you are studying the materials? I don't know. Please don't repeat this. Please go through your materials and notes. Okay. So here, when you, for comparison operation, the subtraction operation will be performed. Keep in mind, the subtraction operation will perform, and according to the output, the condition flag bits will be set. Okay. So if the top of the stack is greater than the source means, so it will be 0, 0. And if top of the stack is less than source means it will 0, 1. And if it is equal means it is 1, 0. If in 1, 1 means that is not a valid operation. Okay. To perform this comparison instruction, we are using this FCOM. And here compare and pop. And here next one is compare and pop twice. Okay, so there are three instructions for comparison: compare, compare and pop, and compare and pop twice. Can you tell me the 86 compare instruction syntax? To put it in the chat box, and anyone unmute can answer me. Compare instruction in 86 processor. Compare instruction in 86. Googling it or finding the answer, trying to find. So can I call by names? I think it won't be fine, no? Yeah, Godson, are you there? Godson? Teherat? See, the compare instruction is CMP. Hope you remember this. In 86, the compare instruction is CMP. Okay. Next one is to check whether the content of the stack, that is top of the stack, is 0. We are using this FIST instruction. And here FXAM is used to examine the content and modify the content of the condition flags. Okay, we have to examine the condition. That is to examine the condition flags, we are using this FXAM. So F compare, compare and pop, compare and pop twice, and FIST is test if the content of the top of the stack is 0. S Swati, yeah, it's right, CMP. And FXAM is to examine the content and modify the content of the condition flag using this FXAM. Okay, this is a comparison instruction. Next one is the constant returning instruction. That is, if you want to load the value 0.0 into the top of the stack, if you are using FLD 0. Okay. So can you tell me the instruction which is used to store 0 into the AL register? I want to store the value 0 into the AL register. What is the instruction I can use?
FIST.
Yeah? Yeah, tell me. In 86. Okay. In 86, how we are loading this? Just data transfer. Move AL, comma 00. Do you remember this? Move AL, comma 00. Here we have the load instruction. So load is at, okay, 0 to the top of the stack. And this is to load 1, the value of 1 into the top of the stack, and load the value of pi. What is the value of pi? Value of pi? Pi is 3.14. Okay, so the value of pi will be loaded into the, yeah, Swati, 3.14 will be loaded into the top of the stack. So to load the value of log 10 to the base 2, we are using FLD2T. And to load the value of log E to the base 2, we are using this fload L2E. And to load the value of 2 to the base 10 is FLD LG2. Okay, logarithm. And log 2 to the base E is FLD FL2. Okay, so these are the constant returning instructions. Okay, I hope the time is over. Huh? Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, okay. So we have seen the data transfer instructions. Yet, yeah, 3. Let me continue the next class. Okay. Thank you, guys. And Kalyan Kumar, you can stop recording.
Yes, ma'am.